Today, we are going to look beyond the myths and misconceptions to discover the legacy of a man whose teachings continue to shape the lives of billions. From the beginnings to his pivotal role in transforming society, join us as we explore the remarkable life and the enduring impact of one of history's most influential figures. Life before prophethood. The early life of Muhammad, before he became known as the Prophet of Islam, is a story of resilience, spiritual seeking, and a remarkable character development, set against the backdrop of the 6th century Arabia. Born in Mecca around the year 570 AD, Muhammad's life from the very beginning was marked by the trials and tribulations of an era filled with tribal conflicts and societal transformations. Prophet Muhammad was born into the Quraysh tribe, a powerful and respected clan responsible for the custodianship of the Kaaba, an ancient house of worship that drew pilgrims from all over Arabia. Despite his noble lineage, Muhammad's early life was steeped in hardship. His father, Abdullah, died before he was born, leaving him in the care of his mother, Amina, who was also passed away when he was just 6 years old. Orphaned and vulnerable, Muhammad was taken in by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, the respected head of his clan. However, this period of care was short-lived, as Abdul Muttalib died 2 years later, entrusting Muhammad to his uncle Abu Talib. Despite the hardships, these early experiences instilled in Muhammad a profound sense of compassion and a deep understanding of the struggles faced by the less fortunate. His upbringing in the desert environment, surrounded by Bedouin tribes, also imbued in him a love for solitude and contemplation, qualities that would later define his spiritual journey. As a young man, he worked as a shepherd, a common occupation for boys at the time, which allowed him moments of solitude and reflection amidst nature. Later, he entered the service of a wealthy widow named Khadijah as a merchant, leading caravans across the desert. His successful management of Khadijah's business affairs and his admirable character led to their marriage. Khadijah, who was 15 years older than Muhammad, became his greatest supporter, both emotionally and financially, throughout the early years of his prophethood. During this period, Muhammad developed a habit of retreating to the cave of Hira, a secluded spot on the outskirts of Mecca, where he would spend days and nights in deep meditation and contemplation. Incident of the First Revelation. The incident of the first revelation to Muhammad is a pivotal moment in Islamic history, marking the beginning of a spiritual journey that would lead to the foundation of Islam, one of the world's major religions. This profound event took place in 610 AD in the cave of Hira, a secluded spot on the outskirts of Mecca, where Muhammad sought solitude and engaged in deep meditation. At the age of 40, while meditating in the cave during the month of Ramadan, Muhammad experienced a visitation by the angel Gabriel, Jibril in Arabic. The angel commanded him to recite, which to Muhammad responded, "I am not a reciter." The angel embraced him forcefully and then released him with the command to recite again. This happened 3 times, and each time Muhammad felt the same overwhelming force. Finally, the angel revealed the first verses what would become the Quran. "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a congealed substance. Recite, and your Lord is most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not." Terrified and confused by the experience, Muhammad fled the cave and returned to his wife Khadijah, seeking comfort and understanding. Khadijah believed in him wholeheartedly and consulted her cousin Warqa ibn Nawfal, a learned Christian who confirmed that Muhammad had been chosen as a prophet by Allah. This event marked the beginning of his role as the Prophet of Islam. The revelations he received over the next 23 years would form the Quran, Islam's holy book. Revelation of the Holy Quran and the spread of its teachings. Over the next 23 years, until he died in 632 AD, Muhammad continued to receive revelations from Allah through the angel Gabriel. These revelations, which he memorized and recited to his followers, were later compiled into the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The Quran is considered by Muslims to be direct word of Allah, unaltered and final, guiding all aspects of life and spirituality. Initially, Muhammad shared the revelations with only his close family and friends, who became the first converts to Islam. As he began to preach openly in Makkah, he faced hostility and persecution from the Quraysh tribe, who saw the new faith as a threat to their power and the established social order. Despite the opposition, Muhammad's message for monotheism, social justice, and moral rectitude attracted a growing number of followers. The situation in Makkah became increasingly untenable, leading to the Hijrah, the migration of Muhammad and his followers to Medina in 622 AD. This event marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Islam flourished as a religious community, and Muhammad established himself not only as a spiritual leader, but also as a political and military leader, forging alliances and leading battles to secure the survival and expansion of the Muslim community. The legacy of Muhammad's revelations and his preaching continues to resonate with Muslims around the world. The Quran and Hadith, the record sayings and actions of Muhammad, remain central to Islamic faith and practice, guiding the lives of billions of believers across the globe. Prophethood and its message. The purpose of prophethood was supposed to be the spread of certain teachings among the people. The most highlighted teachings were monotheism. The core message Muhammad preached was Tawhid, the oneness of Allah. He called people to abandon the worship of idols and to recognize the Allah as the only deity worthy of worship. This message challenged the polytheistic beliefs of Meccan society and aimed to unify the community under the worship of one God. Morality. Muhammad's teachings placed a strong emphasis on moral values, including honesty, kindness, forgiveness, and humility. He urged his followers to lead righteous lives, to treat others with respect and compassion, and to avoid sins such as lying, stealing, and murder. The Quran and Hadiths, sayings and actions of Muhammad, guide living a moral and virtuous life. Social justice. Muhammad's advocated for social justice and the welfare of the needy. His teachings emphasized the importance of charity, zakat, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which requires Muslims to give a portion of their wealth to help those in poverty. He also called for the fair treatment of women, orphans, and the poor, and stressed the importance of community and brotherhood among all Muslims. 5 pillars of Islam. Muhammad's message also included the 5 pillars of Islam, which are fundamental acts of worship and practice in Islam. Shahada, faith. The declaration of faith, stating that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad and his messenger. Salat, prayer. Performing 5 daily prayers facing Kaaba and Makkah. Zakat, charity. Giving fixed portion of one's wealth to the poor and needy. Psalm, fasting. Fasting from morning until sunset during the holy month of Ramadan. Hajj, pilgrimage. Going for a pilgrimage to Makkah if one physically and is financially able. These teachings not only define the spiritual and moral foundation of Islam, but also laid the groundwork for a new social order based on equality, justice, and the worship of one God. Prophet Muhammad's conduct and influence. The Prophet Muhammad is remembered and revered for his exemplary character and personal virtues. He was known for his honesty, integrity, and trustworthiness, qualities that earned him the nickname Al-Amin, the trustworthy, even before his prophethood. His humility and simplicity were evident in his daily life. Despite his leadership role, he lived modestly and shared in the chores and hardships of his community. Muhammad was compassionate and kind-hearted, often showing mercy to his enemies and advocating for the rights of the weak, the poor, and the marginalized in society. He was also a man of profound spirituality, frequently engaging in prayer and meditation. His steadfastness in the face of adversity, his patience during trials, and his unwavering faith in God served as a model for his followers. His ability to forgive and seek reconciliation rather than revenge was remarkable, particularly during the conquest of Mecca, where he gained amnesty to many of his former adversaries. Apart from his personal life, he left a lasting influence on all aspects of life, be it religious, social, political, and all others. Religious legacy. Prophet Muhammad's greatest legacy is the religion of Islam itself, which has grown to be one of the world's major religions, with over 1 billion followers. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, which Muslims believe to be the literal word of God revealed to Muhammad, and the Hadiths, collections of his saying and practices, continue to guide the spiritual, ethical, and social lives of Muslims around the world. Social reforms. Prophet Muhammad's teachings led to significant social reforms in Arabia and later in regions under Islamic rule. His advocacy for social justice, the rights for women and children, and the importance of community welfare laid the foundation for a more equitable society. His emphasis on education and knowledge helped foster a culture of learning that would later contribute to significant advancements in science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy during the Islamic Golden Age. Cultural impact. His influence extends beyond the religious sphere, shaping cultures and civilizations of the Islamic world. From art and architecture to literature and law, his teachings have left an indelible mark on various aspects of society. The calligraphy of Quranic verses, the design of mosques with their minarets and domes, and the traditions of Islamic scholarship and jurisprudence are all testaments to his enduring legacy. Global influence. The impact of Muhammad's life and teachings has not been confined to the Islamic world. Through the spread of Islam, his influence has reached every corner of the globe, shaped the course of history, and affected intercultural relations, trade, and scientific exchange. His message of monotheism, moral integrity, and social justice continues to resonate with millions, making him one of the most influential figures in human history. His legacy includes not only the spread of Islam, but also significant cultural, legal, and philosophical developments that have influenced a vast portion of humanity.